Hi, this is George Alger with the Two Green Energy Video Report, speaking with Craig Shields, who is the author of Renewable Energy Facts and Fantasies, the #1 best-selling energy book on Amazon. Hello, Craig.
Hello, George.
Okay, today we're talking about hydrokinetics as a business opportunity.
Right.
Let's start with the basics. What is it?
Well, hydrokinetics means extracting the energy out of moving water. And so what I'd like to talk about today isn't the business opportunity of hydro generally, though I do need to mention that. But I do want to get to a specific case in a second. But do you want me to kind of talk about hydro generally first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the issue here, what to like about hydro generally is that there's a lot of it. We're surrounded by water that's moving. And there are places on Earth where they don't have a lot of land mass, but they're island nations are surrounded by water, obviously, by definition, and they don't have the land mass to put up a lot of solar, and they don't want a lot of wind turbines, around their harbors and so forth. So some places are pretty much bound to do this if they want renewable energy. The problem is, generally, if you're looking for a global solution to the world's energy problems, you're not going to be able to do it with hydro. There's only, I think, 5 terawatts of hydro all over the place. If you got every joule of it, you'd have, or every watt of it, you'd have 5 terawatts, which isn't enough it's enough to make a difference, which is why people are interested in it, but it doesn't have the capacity of something like solar.
Okay. So, in spite of the capacity issues, though, is it efficient?
Well, it's efficient in that there are devices that you can insert into moving water that will extract the energy fairly efficiently, and I presume that's what you mean. There are issues with it, however. There are ecological issues. Wherever things live in water, so you can't be chopping them up. You can't be making sushi out of fish. And they're all, and actually strike. In other words, the impact of say a turbine blade on an aquatic animal is only one of 15 different ecological issues. So there are challenges with this, but there's a lot to like. For instance, in the fact that it's more or less, there are seasonalities, etc., and obviously tides. There's a kind of daily issue with respect to tides, but it's moving all the time. It's not like solar, which goes out at night.
All right, and I guess that this is too complex an issue to contemplate even putting nets around these big blades so that at least relatively small to larger aquatic life won't get into the blades.
Well, that's one of many solutions depending on what you're doing, exactly right. Now, what people have come to on this thing, come to understand is kind of cool, is run-of-river hydro. So in other words, we don't want to block up our rivers. We don't want to dam them up. There are hydrokinetic dams that go back, most of a century. But these are ecologic issues. As a matter of fact, there's some of these things being destroyed to return so that salmon can swim back upstream to spawn and so forth and so on. So what we want to do is extract the energy from moving water in rivers, but in a way that's completely in keeping with the with the aquatic life.
Okay, so let's talk about this particular business opportunity that you've looked at.
Okay, so there are things that I can tell you about it and things that I can't. All I can tell you, and I'll let you do your own imagination on this thing, is that in run-of-river, you can either have the Ohio River, which is huge amount of water flowing fairly slowly. So if you're going to make a meaningful contribution there, you need a device in that river that is huge. In other words, you need to take in a lot of water to create an enormous amount of torque. Power equals torque times speed. So if it's moving slowly, you need a lot of torque. Now, there are other types of hydro, as you can imagine. What about a waterfall? You look at Niagara Falls, you go, this is a bonanza. How can we do this? Well, there are problems with it, obviously. To do this in a cost-effective and ecologically sensitive and aesthetic manner. You don't want some ugly device ruining Niagara Falls. So all I can tell you about this thing is that this organization has found a way to do this in a way that is all three ecologically sensitive, inexpensive, and aesthetically pleasing. So you're going to have to let your imagination do the rest.
So that's why you're under a non-disclosure agreement
Precisely.
with this, because it seems like it fulfills all the necessary requirements to make this a hit.
Right, and it's one of these things that is simple enough that it really does need to, the IP of this thing really does need to be patented. It's not and protected otherwise. It's not something that has a natural barrier to competitor encroachment.
Good. All right, so if someone would like to find out more,
what they should do is just hit contact on the website, and I'll get right back to them.
Sounds great.
Thank you.